Hello, ladies and gentlefolk. Welcome, Kumano Plays. So, I just wanna rush us through this here because Shadow of the Earth 3 should be dropping real soon, and I didn't think I would make it through most of these earlier portions of the game in time for the expansion. So, I'll just be guiding you through this little journey here. First, making our way through the city of Nokron, I believe. On my mind at this point in time was, should I get the Mimic Key or not? Because this is not a run where I would be using any of the spirits. That's why I don't even have the bell that calls them or anything else like that. I've never really invested any time in that. But I did consider it because it's very tempting, especially for some of the things I plan to do from here on out. I had no expectation that the audience would see a majority of what I do here going forward. And with that in mind, I thought, okay, perhaps I use the Mimic Tier, level it up to max. And I jumped to my death there for some reason. I can't tell why. But regardless, I thought that perhaps if I got the Mimic Tier, it would at least help speed up some of the things here. But I thought that might bring my own integrity into question, So I decided to go through it the normal way. Yeah, we are actually fighting the Mimic Tier. And if I'm not mistaken, we make really quick work of this fella. Like, he cannot survive a few bonkings, And that should be proof that he isn't us. The fact that he can't handle a bonk or two, I mean, come on, bro. So yeah, we made quick work of that there, fella. And moving on through the rest of the city of Nokron. If you're not familiar with this area, this is not actually functioning as a guide. This is more so just for your information as an audience member as to how I got to where I am present day. Running through most of these mimics, I don't care about what they're doing, what they change into. I'm just here to go and get the treasure of Nokron and then get the heck out of there. So, from there we went to go and talk to Rani. She told us some interesting stuff. She was all like, oh man, I'm big sleepy and stuff, but I hope you're here when I wake up, or something to that effect. I don't really know. Moving on from that, we get to the Altus Plateau. We fight Mohg a couple of times. He really does just wreck our entire business. I don't know if there was something that I missed or whatever, but this fight felt extremely strange. I don't know if it was the medium load. I don't know if it was that cold that my reactions, especially with my finger movements, they just weren't on point. But this fight ended up being way more difficult than it really needed to be. After a number of attempts, I eventually get to finishing off Mohg. I did not have a fun time fighting this guy. Once again, really cold when I got into combat with this here fella. But anyways, we eventually beat him. No real big deal. We get to a grace. Now we move on to the demonic, no, I'm stupid, the draconic 3 Sentinel. This guy, like the original 3 Sentinel and somewhat like Mohg earlier, I had a hard time fighting this fella for no other reason than I'm just bad at the game, and I guess, well, I mean, my fingers, right? My fingies, they were just too cold for me to really react in time to anything. So this fight ended up taking a long time. However, we will skip through and I will only show you the good parts of this here fight. So yeah, at this point I'm like, okay, I kinda gotta lock in. This guy is not that tough. But this is where I'm using Prayerful Strike, which I had acquired. I'd leveled up a bunch of different items. I got a couple of different Ashes of War, and I'm giving all of them a bit of a test run. Eventually, I settled back onto the Lion's Claw, but for the time being, I'm using the Prayerful Strike because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, Prayerful Strike would be useful because there's going to be instances where I would want to attack, but I also want to heal, and this does both. However, the end lag on Prayerful Strike is so unforgiving. It's painful how unforgiving this attack actually is. So I end up foregoing Prayerful Strike for the Lion's Claw. after defeating this here Draconic 3 Sentinel. And yes, I did beat them. Spoilers. Skipping ahead to the inside of the capital. This is a little battle that I had with the Avatar. I think that's what it's called, right? But this is a fight like most of the fights you will come to see in this here video. A lot of the time the issues does not come from my damage output. Rather, the issue comes from my ability to survive hits. So after this fight and the one with Godric, I come to the idea of, okay, I'm going to dump a little bit more points into Vigor, especially because I seem to be getting one-tapped quite often. So at that point, I decide I should probably go back and talk to the samurai guy. What's his name? It's with a Y. I keep forgetting, man. Anyway, we go out and we assist Yura in his battles. This is because I come to the realization I'm on my way to Mohg, and I need to get the purifying crystal tier. I believe that's what it's called. And I don't want to go through the underground portion of the capital to try and look for it. And I'm fairly certain I've never actually gone there to get the purifying crystal tier. I've always had it in every playthrough, and I don't know why I've always had it in every playthrough until I realized it probably has to do with this quest. So I go out, I help him beat up this fella over here. Not a very long fight, pretty easy. Moving on from that guy, however, we have to get all the way to the second church of America. That is where we're going to fight, what's her name, Eleonora? Something to that effect. And she's not that tough to fight when you get to this point. Well, which I'm saying this point being just spam Lion's Claw and just bonk the heck out of her. Don't give her a chance to do anything. And I mean, she's quick work. Bada bing, bada boom. We get ourselves a purifying crystal tier. Yura's also dead. Unfortunate. Anyways, back onto the capital. I get into a fight with Godfrey and he murks me. However, I cut that out because at that point my dog came into the room and he needed my attention. So I decided, you know what, that's not going to be a good one to put in the video. So this is about the second fight, I believe. And we go in, we try and get our runes first, because that might be useful later. And we decide that we're going to wreck some ghostly faces. You will see here that I'm basically always 2-tapped by this guy. He will always do basically 50% of my HP. Which is when I came to the realization that, okay, this is not going to work out for me if I keep going like this. So I realized I need to upgrade my Vig. But for now, I'm just beating up a little ghost guy. Not a very tough time. As you can tell, my damage output is more than decent. So we get ourselves a talisman pouch, and then we decide to mess around a little bit in the capital. Just beating up a 3 Sentinel and the assassin dude that's at Marika's room. That guy as well, we beat him up. Then, going on now to Morgoth. This fight, I must admit, was also tough. At this point, I have warmed up. I have no other excuses such as, oh no, my hands are cold, or I don't know, it's early in the morning and I'm still tired. Like, none of that. The fight with Morgoth is pretty tough. At least it is painful for me to watch back. I make a lot of dumb mistakes. I get hit, I get like all kinds of stuff. Like things that I see coming, I just don't avoid. And well, I keep getting killed by this guy. Like I must have fought this guy at least 15 times before I started to actually get a grasp again as to what his moveset is like, what to expect from certain attacks, how does he chain together certain attacks, what some of his animations maybe even mean, you know? Like all of those things really were a tough time on me. But eventually we do kind of just lock in and decide, enough is enough, let's just kill this fella. Now, of brevity, I'm not going to show you all the times I've fought this guy. Again, that was like 15 times. But this is the last time I fight him. This is when I eventually beat the guy. And let me tell you, bro, I just didn't care at that point anymore. Like with the Draconic Tree Sentinel, I just decided, you know what, if I take a hit, I take a hit. This guy is going down. So, I decide, you know what's going to be best for me? I should get close to this guy. I should be in his business. Because that way, I can avoid some of his more unexpected attacks, I suppose. Because if I'm up close, a lot of these things are going to be easily avoided with just a simple dodge to the side or something to that effect, you know? So, I start going in. I'm looking for a stance break. I want this guy to know that I'm in his face. And at this point, Mohg knows I'm done. I'm not playing anymore. So I get a couple of cheap hits in, and then I wait. What I want is these pools to get out of the way so I can stance break him again. That's all I want. This attack easily avoided when you're up close. Bang! Second stance break. Lion's Claw. Too overpowered. Please nerf. This Ash of War is actually insane. I go for a little laydown, you know. I'm like, man, that was rough. So, we move on to the mountaintops of the giants. This is way further into everything, right? As you can tell, my level is now 85. When you last saw me, I must have been closer to the 50s or something to that effect. I've been grinding. Now, I killed Commander Neil. I forget that dude's name, bro. Like the guy with the peg leg that's lightning and stuff. I think that was the worst fight I had. Like it got so bad that I had to stop recording. It was just, there were so many fights against this fella. But again, for the sake of brevity, I cut that fight out. It wasn't very fun for me. There wasn't going to be that much intriguing commentary anyways. Now, we're looking for the Sanguine Noble. This guy should be spawning somewhere around there. And there he is. He's my target. I decide, Lion's Claw. This fight is painful for me to watch back, mostly because the audio is doubled. I don't know why it is doubled, but it is. So, I'm being very cautious because I have no poise. So any attack from his daggers is going to just pull me into a chain of attacks that I will not be able to escape from. At least until I'm dead. So I'm trying to be really cautious about getting hit by some of his combos. I don't really care about the blood loss. I'm more concerned about just getting chained in a bunch of attacks, alright? I'm slow, glass cannon. He's fast, not quite as class. But, I mean, quick work is made of the Sanguine Noble. We get his outfit. And eventually we find this here waypoint thing, Watson. It took me very long to find that. That's why there's that awkward cut. I was looking for this thing for maybe 15 minutes. But we find it and we get ourselves all the way to Mohgwyn's palace. It's Mohgwyn, right? Not Mohgwyn. The words will pop up at some point. Mohgwyn. I'll say Mohgwyn Palace. That's what I'll say. But here we are. I almost fell off the ledge. So I was just kind of panicking there for a second and just being relieved that I didn't just instantly die. And there, we're taking a look-see at the palace in the distance. Also admiring the night sky kind of box thing. And we find our way towards this grace over here. From here, I am doing my outro. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Next time you see me, I will be fighting Mohg.